Hey, hey, happy Sunday. Welcome back to the UpSet podcast. Happy New Year. Tonight we're talking about New Year, New Start. Coming up next. All right. Once again, welcome back to the UpSet podcast, season 5. Yay! We're so happy that you are here with us. And I'm very happy to have these individuals with me on this first Sunday of the new year. Hey, guys.
Happy New Year, everyone.
New Year. Happy
Happy
Sunday.
New Year. Happy Sunday. Yes. We're excited about the new year and season 5. You guys see that new opening?
It was
I
nice.
changed my pick though because I'm looking like season 4.
I know, yeah. So it's going to be changed. There was a little because you have a new picture now. You have a new picture now. We have it.
Oh.
We have it.
Oh, all
So
right.
next week you'll see your updated.
All right.
Marlena said she wants to look like New Year.
Yeah, new year, new me. Right?
Well, this is a new beginning show, right? So
Yeah, exactly. New year, new start. So we'll work on that for next week. But so season 5, we are here. And we're excited about season 5. We're looking forward to some exciting things happening. Now, before we get started with our hot topics, things that are going on in the world. Just some quick updates from our UpSet team. I don't know, those of you who are really paying attention to our opening may have noticed a few faces that weren't in the lineup. Yes, good evening, Mary. Thanks for being here. Happy New Year to you.
New Year.
As we said, new year, new start. One of the things about the UpSet family, which is what I call us, is once you're an UpSetter, you're always an UpSetter. Like that's not even a thing. Like, so at any point, anyone could pop up here. But this year, we have a little bit of a change with our hosts. And so after 4 seasons, we are saying not goodbye, so long, see you soon, to Pat and also to Amy. I don't know if I could share her news. I feel like I can share her. Can I share the news? It's on social media, right?
Good news to share.
All right. So we are excited for Amy Welcome, who has recently, she and her fiance, Will Washington, who was also part of the family beginning of last year, are now engaged. So, yay! Where's my applause thing? That's not it. But, I see. Oh, we got Tally. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Can everybody hear me?
Share.
I have no idea what went on, but welcome
You're
to
here.
2025.
Welcome to the party.
Exactly. It wouldn't be, a new year, new start without something kind of being interesting at the beginning, right?
You're right.
Tally, you're always the bomb, so you had to blast in.
So welcome. We're just saying Happy New Year. I was letting everyone know some of the updates from season 5. I was sharing the wonderful news of Amy and Will and their engagement. So she'll be spending a lot of time planning a wedding this year. So
Hot dog.
yeah. And then
says, you know what a wedding has in store for you by the music that they play at the beginning. Dum 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 dum.
Oh.
Dum, dum,
I
dum.
knew that was coming.
But
Exactly. Hello, Happy New Year, Pastor Franco. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year, Nicole. And Happy New Year, Yvette. Thanks for joining us.
Man, I'm going to miss them, though. I'm going to miss
Yeah, I am too. But it's one of those things where how family just drops in anytime. And that's going to be the case,
For all we know, Pat could be in the waiting room.
Exactly.
Green room,
He'll probably make a cameo appearance.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and we're excited for Pat too because Pat has a lot of things going on in general. We're really excited about him continuing to expand his MSAD, which is managing stress and depression platform that some of you are already following him there. So we want to continue to support him. One of the things I've always told Pat is that you do too much. That's the conversation I always have with him. Like, focus on a few things and do them well, right? So
but if you look up ADHD in the dictionary, Pat picture is there.
You see, he's not here to defend himself.
He will tell you that
I'll help you with that.
Pat is the only person at his own funeral who will get up and say something.
And you know what? That does not seem far-fetched as wild as it sounds. But yeah, so we're encouraged. I encourage him to focus his attention there because I know it's something that is really near and dear to his heart. And so we're going to be supporting him, and he'll join us from time to time.
Yes. And he is soon to be Dr. Pat. So
exactly.
Now,
we got a lot of doctors loaded.
Pat before Dr. Marlena is Dr. Marlena.
Well, I'm in 3 months. I hope Pat is with me. It's also going to be Dr. Novella too.
Oh man, all these doctors, man. I don't know.
It's just to make me feel like a slacker.
No, don't feel like that, Tally. I don't know all those big words that so you're all right.
And then there's Dr. Keenan coming too, right?
Oh, that's right.
Dr. Keenan.
So
Dr. Keenan and I will be together.
I quit. Just call me Nurse Tally.
Oh my goodness. Not Nurse Tally. That's amazing. That's amazing though. But anyway, back to just want to give those updates, and the rest of the crew will be joining us. This seems to be like wedding season. A lot of weddings were happening this weekend. Also wanted to give mention to the Foster family.
I just left that service.
Okay.
And it was befitting, Charles, and you would know what I mean by this. It was an Ebenezer service, but the music was extraordinary, done in grand style. They said farewell to Gwen Foster in a way befitting the contribution that she has made to this conference and to her home church.
Great. Yeah, what a legacy. Yeah, so just keeping the family in prayer. And I watched some of it online, and like you said, Tally, I saw that there was great representation from every piece of the world that she has impacted, whether it's Pine Forge Academy, the conference, the church, community,
the former mayor.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So
isn't that what it's about? The legacy, the stamp, the mark that we leave. There's that old song that says, "May all who come behind us find us faithful," right?
Mm-hmm.
Be able to pattern something useful from what we've done to further the gospel and just be good humans in this world. So I'm thankful for her legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a lot has been going on in the world since we've even been on here to talk about it. I know, I don't know what I was doing, but I saw something come up like terrorist attack, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, it's one of those things where a lot of craziness is happening in the world, but certain phrases, when you see them, they just kind of jolt you. I think after 9/11, just hearing anything related to a terrorist attack just instantly sends a chill through my spine. And I mean, I was following a little bit of the story there, and listening to some of the commentary from some of the individuals who were there for New Year's Eve. For those who may not have heard, New Year's Eve down in New Orleans, right down there in Bourbon Street, I believe it was. And the gentleman who seemed to have been planning this for some time, based on some of the recent developments. So it's just unfortunate.
Gosh, they said he was the nicest guy.
And that's the thing.
I'm watching out for you, Tally. People who have that reputation, makes me a little bit nervous.
You make a good point. I mean, it's whenever you see these things, you always say, no, somebody had to know. But the truth of the matter is that you don't know what's in the back of people's minds, and you can only you can only kind of guess, and so nobody knows what really motivated him.
Right.
But and can you imagine he was planning to kill his family? I mean,
Yeah.
good night.
Yeah, like what's going on there mentally?
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Velma.
Even a sad case out of Trinidad, where an elder or a gentleman rather just finished preaching, and when he went outside,
I saw that.
He was an attorney, prosecuting.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, what?
Was it church members or just driver-bys?
It sounds like it was the criminals, like the people, a part of the gang that he was.
Wow.
That's what it sounds like, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gone, and very difficult to process these things, especially in the new year. You always want to start fresh and on fire, and then these difficult things happen. But even with those difficult things happening, it still provides us with a perspective, and it provides us with, a question that we can ask ourselves, So as difficult as it is, we can still propel forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're all set. And hello once again to those of you joining us. Hello, Kevin Jackson Sr. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Hello to Velma. And then hello to Donna McAllister. Thank you for being here, and Happy New Year to all of you. And as we say, Happy New Year and New Year, new start. Of course, we talked about how in some areas this new year has not gotten off to the best start for many. And we understand that that's a part of life. A lot of times the new year is associated with something fresh. This is our opportunity to start over, or this is a chance for us to make right in the areas that we have maybe have been going in the wrong direction. And, I realize, as we talk about New Year, often New Year's resolutions, although I'm really discovering, and I don't know if you guys see this, that they're almost going out of style. Even just saying you're making a New Year's resolution isn't as welcomed as it used to be once upon a time.
I don't think I get them anymore. I just purpose to do better.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's something we do as we get older and we recognize year after year certain patterns with it. I don't know. But I do. What do you think, Charles?
Target, to, if you want to make some changes in your life or in your work or, in your profession, it's like a good, benchmark or marker to say, okay, I'll start here.
Right. Like a reset. I find.
Yeah. And I think that, we should be realistic with, New Year's resolutions and all. I mean, I think sometimes we overplan and overcommit to making changes, and then when we fail, then we're worse than we were when we started.
Oh my goodness!
So we should be realistic about making change. I mean, incrementally, do it incrementally.
Sure.
This moment of encouragement is brought to you by Charles Williams.
Guys, I'm sitting here and I'm having like a little deja vu from just last year. Remember when we were talking about this and we were all going to talk about our goals and then reassess later on in the year? And I'm thinking, man, this year has gone by so quickly.
It did.
And I don't know if any of us met our goal resolutions. I don't know.
I'm proud of mine.
You proud of yours?
I met my resolution. I said I wasn't going to make any resolutions.
And you successfully did not.
Man, let me tell you, hit that thing,
I wanted to ask you guys, though, what do you think are the top 3 New Year's resolutions that people make?
Lose weight.
Lose weight is number one.
Number one.
Lose weight? That's actually not number 1, but it is in the top.
Really?
Gym, the same thing. Weight and gym. I don't know.
What?
You know what it is?
All those commercials just start coming out. You would think it was weight loss.
The number 1 is actually save more money.
Okay.
21% of people say they want to save more money.
But gym is in the top 3. That
number 2, you said
should be.
Number 2 is exercise more.
Okay.
Yeah. Not so much lose weight as much as an approach to a lifestyle change.
Healthy something.
Yeah. They're all related. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all are all put together.
And what's number 3 though?
So number 1 was save more money. Number 2 was, did I say eat healthier? Because okay. And number 3 is exercise more.
Oh, so eat healthy was number 2.
Yes.
So they separated the whole health.
Yeah, the health. Yeah.
Because lose weight is number 4. So technically, all of them are usually paired. Those bottom, the second, third, and fourth are usually all related. You want to eat healthier so you can lose weight, and you exercise more so you can lose weight, right?
See, I made the mistake initially years and years ago. I thought that they said, as a resolution, it would be good for you.
Molly, why are you laughing already? You don't even know what he's going to say, and you're over there chuckling. What are you saying?
Tally's because we talk about weight loss. He's going to say something crazy.
I thought that they said, you should get some extra size.
See, I told
you. And so I said, oh, well, sure, I can do that. And I was in my 50s before I realized they were saying exercise instead of exercise. And so it was their fault for not being able to speak clear.
They weren't clear.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. They should make the revolution.
It's your hearing. It's your hearing.
Well, just to finish off this list of the top 6, the 5th one is spend more time with family and friends.
Yep.
I feel like that's definitely something that people realize, especially when you talk about with loss and everything, not knowing what the next day will hold. You realize the things that you want to treasure a little bit more. And the last one, the 6th one, is to quit smoking.
Tally, there you go. You better bring that one back. Yeah. Bring that one back, dude.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool. I thought number 6 was going to be Marlene, is to drink less, but
that's probably number 7.
So y'all make resolutions. So be my drinking bee. You go.
But the interesting thing about the resolutions that people set, they say that the day that people actually break them, I mean, come on. I mean, it amazes me that we can't even get through a month of completing the things that it is the second Friday of January when most people end up
in 2 weeks.
I'm just kind of like,
resolutions really don't catch until you commit to 30 days,
right?
At least 30 days.
Habit, yeah.
And quite frankly, if you mess up within that 30 days, your 30-day clock should start over again, because it's hard to create a new habit.
It is,
and you got to stick with it. 30 days. I know a lot of times I tried with, as a matter of fact, referencing Gwen Foster years ago when she did the fitness camp up here at Pine Forge. She would always stress drinking more water, and at that time, of course, we were providing support for the camp. But then I approached her personally and I said, this business of 8 glasses of water a day, I mean, that's a bit much, because I didn't drink water at all. I thought it was boring. All I drank.
Boring?
Milk or something. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Did you want the water to entertain you, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, really, because back then we had that sugar craving, from either drinking orange juice, which is, although it's, natural sugar, still sugar, or a soda or something like that, then to drink water, which kind of like didn't have a taste. And then I said to her, you want me to drink 8 glasses of this a day? So, she said, try it. She said, if you can do it, nothing necessarily 8 glasses, but drink more water.
Right.
For 30 days, it will become
a habit,
second nature to you.
Part of it.
You really don't have to think about it. So I tried it, and I will say it worked.
Could you feel
the difference? Great too, though. I mean, you're resting more. I mean, Chuck, you make really good goals and progress. You told us how you rest more, you take breaks,
that's important. I think I think that's one of the things I think everyone, including our listeners, viewers, should consider. Really making those kind of changes that help build up your body, make your body stronger, more healthy. And you can pick and choose. I mean, there's a number of things you can do: eat well, get sleep, whatever. You can list something, but whatever you're not doing is what is the thing you should try to plan for 30 days. If you're not getting enough sleep, make sure you get 8 hours of sleep for 30 days. Don't slip. If you want to eat better for 30 days, at least.
Yeah.
You should sleep for 30 days?
Yeah, right. Get more, right.
If you
sleep 30 days, when you wake up,
in the morgue.
But honestly, Charles, you're onto something, because a lot of times one of the reasons why people are not successful is that they're looking at it from the long-term perspective instead of looking at it in smaller increments. Because when you do that, it seems more attainable. I can keep this up for 30 days, and then not realizing that after the 30 days, you realize maybe I can do it another 30 days instead of saying I have to do this all year. Like, if that's in your mindset at the beginning, it may overwhelm you when you're trying to change a habit.
Lorraine Blake just said a 21-day reset. Is there some kind of rule where it takes 21 days to establish a new habit? Is that?
I have heard that. Yeah, 21 days.
Some have said 28, some say 21.
Okay.
Yeah. More than the 2 weeks, after the January.
Right, which is why.
Probably. You need to set it in increments. Like for myself, I set a certain amount of steps to walk every day. Now, for the new year, I said, oh, okay, I'm going to up that by 1,000 or a couple thousand.
Wow.
And I had to kind of have a moment there and said, hey, that's not realistic, dude. If you're struggling to make your regular,
now you're trying to,
why add another 2,000?
Right. It's like, I'm not ready for that yet.
Do it. So what I said to myself was, starting this year, if I can maintain what I've already set and do that for a while, then up. So we get into that. Hey, let's do it better right now.
Right.
It doesn't work all the time.
So I've seen people do vision boards as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's resolution, vision board, or what have you, it's really all the same thing. It's just maybe how you approach it. So the vision board allows you to see words and pictures of what you'd like to accomplish or obtain or what have you, or even overcome throughout that year. And maybe it just puts it out in front of you, and then you have to put steps. And so maybe that approach of steps towards the vision is more realistic than, like Chuck said, extra 2,000 steps,
Right.
Well, my older aunt, they decided that she was going to walk 2 miles a day, and we didn't think she could do it. But the first day she did 2, next day she did 2, and she's been faithful. She's been walking, adding 2 miles every day. We don't know where she is now. Last we heard, she was on a highway in Indiana, but she's been doing like 2 miles every day.
She's in good health wherever she is.
At first, I was believing him at first.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful. When Tally starts out his story, you got to like, okay, let's see where Chris is going to go. But I want to ask you, Tally, in reference from a biblical standpoint, would you consider, or should anyone consider, instead of making a resolution, make a covenant? What's the difference?
A resolution is unilateral. I am going to do this. A covenant is relational. That's saying, I'm going to call Novella and say, Novella, this is what we want to accomplish together, and we covenant together to do it. And like the Bible says, a cord of 3 strands is harder to break. And most of us, we tend to want to do a resolution because on that second Friday, we can go ahead and eat that fat burger because we didn't tell nobody we wasn't.
Right.
But a covenant allows somebody to check you and to say, but we said that this is what we're going to do. And so
what if say you factor your resolution into a covenant with God?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a deep commitment there.
Yeah, you got to really be serious.
Where the Bible says, let your yea be your yea, your nay be your nay. And, we're warned about being careful. But I sense that if you're sincere and you say, God, this is what I want to do, I covenant to venture in this direction. Would you join me? If something goes wrong, I can pretty much assure you it wasn't God's fault.
You can also pray to help, for him to help you actually be true to it too. So, I mean, I think there is definitely some aspect of a commitment, or even deciding on what your goals should be, and then calling on him for assistance and making them a reality. And one of the things I will say about even goal setting and the spiritual aspect of it is a lot of times we set goals that are not even, I mean, they're driven by us, but sometimes we don't even check with God if this is what he wants for us right now. I mean, a lot of times we just think it's naturally good to do XYZ. So of course God will co-sign this. I mean, that's some of the rationalization that we use, but there's some times when God wants us to focus on other aspects sometimes.
I like what you were saying, Tally, because I know that a lot of the goals that are set, they tell you to have somebody that will hold you accountable, and that you see it all the time, even with exercise, having someone to work out with, or someone who's going to partner with you some way and somehow, even with savings, right? Before you buy anything, call this person, right? And they're hopeful that works a little bit better, because we give up on self so quickly, but maybe if someone else holds us accountable, keeps us, straight, and talks to us about that thing, we will stay more focused.
One time, one of my friends and I, we got to get our health in order. We got to purge. We got to stay focused, get our head straight. We're going to do a liquid diet for 3 days.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'm drinking water. I'm hungry, but I'm focused. I said, we got this. When I checked in with my friend, I said, how's the liquid diet? Oh, going well. I said, yeah. And then one day she confessed to me. I was drinking a liquid diet, but I was having mango milkshake. I said, it was liquid.
It was liquid.
It was liquid. And so it's like, I can't fault you because it was liquid.
It was liquid.
The right liquid.
And it was fruity.
Mango.
Yeah, but accountability helps, because you can discuss your joys and the sorrow part of whatever it is you're working on. It helps because it helps you identify with the humanness of the struggle of change, right? And then also the joy of change when you've overcome a certain hurdle that maybe at another time you hadn't gotten past that far. You can talk about it with someone and celebrate, and hit reset when you have to.
One of my favorite passages, pericopes, for my doctoral students there, is found in the book of Judges, where a man makes a vow, and when things happen, he has to keep that vow. He says to God, the first thing that comes out of my house, I will present it to you as a sacrifice.
Oh, my
the story of Jephthah. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, this is a man who made a vow, and when he says the first thing that comes out of my house, I'll sacrifice to you. And lo and behold, as he's coming back from his victory, his daughter comes dancing out.
His only daughter, right? His only daughter.
His only daughter, his only child. And so what are your thoughts about that? And so
I would say you have to count the cost before you make any promise to God. I mean, you say the first thing that comes out of your house, that could be, was he just willing to give up his servant? What was that, right? So you have to be willing to count that cost. Whatever you say, you have to be willing to go through with that. To me, I would never make a covenant like that.
But after he made it and she came out, he says, I've made an oath to God. I've given the Lord my word, and I can't go back. I mean, and I've heard many people preach that and say, what a man. He made a covenant. And you got to put that in there when you kill somebody.
And then look at the daughter's response. I mean, she was just started saying, okay, Dad, let me go away for a little bit. I mean, she was never married or anything. I mean, she had to go and...
That's how you knew she wasn't from the hood, because she said, let me bewail my virginity. So,
you know what?
Thanks for the pathological, as one of my professors would say, depth.
Do you think should he have kept the vow, or should he have never?
I think he should have. I mean, when you make a vow to God, I just feel like you.
Well, hold on. me see.
And the thing is,
but he had to sacrifice his daughter. I mean, Tosh,
but Tosh, your daughters are on the line.
sacrificing
But I wouldn't do that. That's what I'm saying. I agree with Marlena. Before I say something, I need to know that I'm willing to do what I'm going to say. Now,
He didn't know who was coming out, but once he made it, but you're saying, Tosh, he should have gone on and gone through with the promise he made to God. Yeah, that's what she said, girl.
I do feel like if you make a promise to God, then I mean,
yeah. How do you never asked us to sacrifice our children? That was like a Moloch kind of.
If you get to
that was him doing too much, is what we would say. You're doing too much.
Yeah, get to the train station before she comes home.
I would say, God, forgive me. I made a mistake. Forgive me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
The thing about it, I mean, the background of his story is what it helps us to see the mistake he made. I mean, he did grow up. First of all, he was a child who was denied his inheritance, kicked out of his community, always looking for ratification and affirmation. He did grow up in an area where living sacrifice or human sacrifice was done. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people said he was thinking of his animals. The man said, "Whatever comes out my house."
Right.
The goats wasn't living in his house. So I think that he made a mistake and he should have told the Lord, "I am sorry." But he was so afraid that if he didn't go through with what he promised, God would take back what he thought God had promised him.
Right.
And so,
Charlie, don't we do that today? Don't we kind of misunderstand some of the principles of God's word? And it could be a little bit off, but we're so committed, that the thing that we want to do is just against the will of God, but we think that it is.
Yeah, I've seen it like on Sabbath. This person, they had a flat tire. They were on the road. We were going somewhere and had a flat tire. And the people I was with said, I would help her, but I can't work on the Sabbath.
My donkey's in a ditch.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
my donkey was in a ditch.
Yeah, well, they wasn't their donkey. It was her donkey. And so they figured that they let her donkey go ahead and wait till sunset, Yeah.
I know. I think I was looking at it more from our tendency to make these shallow promises to God, oh Lord, I'll never do it, oh Lord. And knowing that we haven't really committed in our hearts to do a thing. And knowing that since we serve a gracious God, he will forgive us. And so we say things so flippantly sometimes as it relates to God and our commitments to him, that it's like when we say something, particularly to God, we should, we should know what we're doing. We should, be sincere in it.
Think about the sincerity of Peter, when Jesus had them all around the table and said, "You're all going to deny me." And Peter said, "Look, if all of these people, if every one of them denies you," he said, "I don't care if Tosh, Novella, Marlena, and Charles deny you." He didn't add me on that. He said, "I don't care if all of them deny you. I will never deny you." Mm-hmm. Should he not have said that? Should he not have made that covenant?
Oh,
he should not have done what he did. That's what I'm saying. Like, we say these things in the moment to appear as though we are,
Well, Tosh, we believe that we are. I mean, he believed that he was faithful like that, but he didn't know himself, just like we don't know ourselves.
Right, exactly. And we should take that in consideration when we start making quote unquote resolutions.
So maybe some of these resolutions or whatever, like when the Lord told him this is what's going to happen, if I trust the Lord, then maybe I need to say, Lord, since you said this is what's going to happen, can you search me out right quick and let me know if there's something that could be changed if it's me? I'm not going to push back on God and say, even though you say I'm going to screw up this thing, or I'm going to, not manage this right, I'm going to tell you, no, I'm going to manage it right. Even though you say I'm not. No, I'm going to do it. Lord, you say I'm not going to manage it right. Can you show me how to manage it right so that we don't have to fulfill this word? That might have worked out better for him than saying, no, Lord, I'm faithful. No, I'm telling you.
I'll never deny you.
Yeah, I'm telling you something.
No, he had to know himself, but he thought he knew himself better than God. And so we do the same. I mean, the commitments that we make or the things we say we will never do because we feel so strongly that we will never do it. And we have good intentions, but our flesh is so weak.
I wish I could have been at that breakfast, that early morning breakfast by the Sea of Galilee, when the disciples had gone back fishing after Jesus had been crucified, and Jesus was waiting on the shore and had made breakfast for them after they hadn't caught anything, and then he helped them. I bet you Peter never looked up from that breakfast. Because if I was Jesus and I said, look, you're going to do, I would not meet, never. Man, I would have let Peter get his hands right on the piece of fish. And when it was about 3 inches from his lips, I'd have smacked it away and said, I thought you weren't going to leave me, but
it's
not like we are.
It'd be nice to know if some of the viewers right now could share with us some of the things that they think they want to do better for 2025. But there's a couple things I want to suggest that you could try. I did see in the comments that one person said saving. Okay, so saving money. And I thought, because I've practiced this, you should say to yourself, give yourself a limit for spending, or give yourself a category for spending. A nice to have and a must have. And if it, if certain purchases don't fall into those, if it falls in the nice to have, then perhaps you abstain from purchasing. If it's a must have, an essential purchase or essential thing, to be able to make that decision, especially when you go shopping or say you're scrolling on Amazon, it's so easy to tap that cart button and say, oh, I like to get that because it's on sale. But is it a must have?
Yeah. And I like that, Chuck. I also found a system that says, pay yourself, give you a little fun money, but don't go over that fun money, right? So that you don't feel like you're punishing yourself every month. So I like that.
I like this. So, I mean, let's talk about that kind of in a little category. So you gave some good ones about finances. So let's stay in that lane, because we heard saving, we heard, setting a limit for how much you're going to spend in other areas. What are some other financial goals that even our viewers that you follow, or that are good practices for those who are looking for some type of goals to develop? Because some people don't set goals because they don't know how to set goals. And so
one goal might be to return tithe.
That's it. That would be a good goal.
Tithe and an offering.
And an offering.
Yes.
And an offering. I know.
What about giving money? So not tithe and offering, but like there is a homeless brother or sister, and because we're so digital, we always have debit card or Cash App. But what about saying, hey, every pay period, I'm going to pull out X amount of dollars and keep it in my wallet or my purse, so that when I see a homeless brother or sister, I always have something to give.
I like that.
I have a story on that. Many years ago, it was in Philadelphia. I was in Philadelphia and came across a man who, as you know, when they're quote unquote beggars on the street, he said, hey, do you have $1? Hey, do you have $5? And so I stopped the guy and asked him, I said, what do you want the money for? He says, well, I haven't eaten in a while. And I just, so you tend to say, okay, you may want this to pick up a bottle, liquor store. So I said to him, I said, okay, if you've not eaten in a while, I said, come on with me. I'll take you to the restaurant and we'll have a meal. And I did that. And he had a meal. So that was prompted on my suspicion that, if I give him $5, he's only going to go and spend it frivolously. And so I felt like that was a balance,
There's so many ways, there's so many ways. Listen, I saw on someone's sign their Cash App handle.
Really?
I said, that's how you got to roll in the year 2025.
Right?
You mean somebody was
on the have a phone and be homeless?
I don't know all about that, but they had a Cash App. I know about it. I saw the sign, please give. There we go.
Happy New Year.
They had a sign, need help, God bless, Cash App. I said, okay, because hey,
they probably got that one too many times. I don't have cash. I don't have cash.
On the other hand, I knew of a guy on the street, had a sign, and a little bucket there trying to collect money. And towards the end of the day, he was walking away. He was going to walk away. And one of my pastor friends in the DC area said he parked his car and followed the guy.
Yep.
And he picked up his little bucket and his little sign and walked over to his BMW and drove away.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I saw a special on that. Like
I saw a special too.
Yeah.
Some of them are it's a lot of scamming. So you have to pray, you know, to know when. I remember I was getting out in my car at Walmart and this dude passed me. He says, "You have such and such. I'm trying to get back home and I just need, you know, money to catch the bus." I'm like, I said, "No buses go down this street," you know, because but I was like, "Sir, I don't have any cash on me." He said, "Yes, you do." He says, "Because I get that all this." I mean, he was
he's gonna call you out.
Okay. Yes, he was. I said, "So I'm telling you."
He was right. You did have some money, didn't you?
I did not. I don't carry cash like that. I always have my card. And so, but he was just walking around trying to get money. I was like, "Dude, you so fraudulent. You're not really."
And you have to realize that some of them will kind of give you a guilt trip. You know, you'll say, "Oh, I don't have any cash," and if we walk away, they'll say, "Oh, okay, God bless you, thank you anyway."
Right. You say you're a Christian. I see that bumper sticker on your car.
In December, I was at a store, and there was a gentleman sitting outside, and he's like, "You know, ma'am, do you have $1? You know, some monies or whatever." I said, "I'll be right back." Now it's freezing cold outside, and I went into the store. And the Lord said, just gather up a bag of things for him. I got him like cup of noodles, a hat, you know, some drinks, you know, water and like.
I'm gonna start living outside of Novella's door.
And Gatorade type stuff and some snacks. I came back outside. He wasn't there. So I sat in my car for a bit because I saw his soda was still there. So I said, "No, he must be coming back." So when he came back, I said, hey, I was looking for you. So I gave him the bag. He said, "Thank you." He sat down, opened it, and when he saw like the hat and different stuff, he gave me a thumbs up and said, "Thank you." And that kind of taught the lesson that it's not always about the money, right? But sometimes it's like, listen, if you don't trust that a person is really going to utilize the money in a safe way, then get them some staples that they won't turn away, you know, things that they could really really use, you know.
Yeah, I love that. So be more generous.
More charitable is
charitable. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
We had some more in the chat. I think Rodney's saying live on cash, not credit. So like getting out of debt, that's a big one.
Rodney said love on cash.
I'm interpreting.
I wonder what kind of ministry he's involved in. Love on cash. They have a name for that, brother pastor.
Lorraine says to pay off credit cards, cash only purposes, same concept. So those are some of the things financially. I always say to people, like when you're trying to save, automate your savings so that you don't have to think about it every month, and make that something that just automatically leaves your account, and that of course you budget it for, so that you can stay more committed to your goals. That's something.
Yeah, or set a limit to your non-essential purchases. Like for instance, say if what I want, not necessarily need, but if it's something I want, if it's more than $50, I can't have it. You have to say no to yourself.
Discipline, like create that discipline.
You can't buy an apple, man. More than $50.
Listen.
But I mean, you have to come up with the equation, you know, for yourself. And one other thing I just wanted to suggest before we're done here is pick at least one lifestyle change.
Yeah.
At least one that you know you're not doing or you need to improve on.
Right.
And do it incrementally. Don't, you know, like the whole 8 glasses of water. I mean, I was, you know, I was kind of foolish. I said, you know, I tried that. I tried to drink 8 glasses of water, and I'll tell you, I spent more time in you know where. Because you know, the bladder goes from
the right time,
no water to 8 glasses of water. The bladder's like, yo.
See, Chuck, that's why your skin is so pretty and smooth now. You needed those 8 glasses.
Well, I don't know that there's controversy about that in the medical and lifestyle field. They said that sometimes it's not 8 glasses. I mean, who came up with 8 glasses?
Yeah.
The point is just hydrating more.
Yeah, your body needs that for sure. Speaking of,
Donna had a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
Yeah. Reduce eating out to twice a month instead of weekly. and also reduce your monthly subscriptions. Now that subscription thing.
Donna eats out every week?
And well, not anymore, just twice a month.
No, that's a suggestion. That's how I think that.
But you know,
and Donna doesn't sound like a Happy Meal kind of girl. I'm thinking that she's talking about the Ritz-Carlton there, you know.
But no, that is what eats up a lot of people's budgets, eating out, the convenience of just going out. And fast food right now is so expensive. Restaurants are so expensive. It's like,
and if you make a lifestyle change, which affects your time, you should commit to preparing more meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all works together.
Some people say, I don't have time to make a salad. I don't have time. I got to go. I got to be there at 6. If I do that, then I won't have time. But you really do have to adjust that. If you're going to be healthier, you have to make yourself the priority. You know, there was an old saying that says, no goose, no golden egg. Well, you know, if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of others or even do your job well. So if you commit to preparing more meals, you might pick 2 days out of the week, said, I'm going to prepare a meal, eat out, or do a quick 7-Eleven grab or something like that.
You know, I one of the things they were talking about the nutritional value of beans and I respect process, but when it comes to cooking, I don't like a whole lot of process. You know, I like to make a stir fry, so you use one pan. You know, but
no, I like that. Those one meal wonders. Yeah,
soaking the beans overnight and all of that kind of stuff.
Too much work, right?
It's too much, but I did it.
You did, yeah.
I did it. Well, even with the crock pot, they say you should really soak them because
that's exactly what I do.
And so tonight it's bean night. You know, now I mean, like a secret agent who's been revealed, I might blow my covers if you get my drift, but it's going to be beans. You know.
Well, I heard a dietitian once say, you know, because that's always people's concern concerning beans. You know, you eat beans, you get kind of gassy, but
if you soak them.
But the fact is, they say that if you eat lentils and beans more often, your body adjusts and you will have less gas or no gas at all as a result. That's why some people say, "Oh, I don't eat beans because it gives me gas."
That tells a lot.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
So now we need more beans.
Once a week.
On a spiritual note, and I look, I like to laugh as much as anybody, but I've really been, this year, and I don't know if I agree with the church's direction. What is it called? Pentecost 2025. The idea of having the Spirit operational in the lives of people. No, I used that Instapot, Dorothy, and trust me, it was, you're sending up smoke signals. Still, you still need to soak those beans. Trust me.
Yeah.
But the Spirit, I asked God about it. I said, Lord, I'm at a point in life where I need to see, and I think the world needs to see that you are able to do the things that we talk about in Scripture. That. That people who are desperately ill can be healed, and so I'm asking God, release your Spirit in a way so that unbelievers and believers can see that God is doing things that only God can do in the life of His children. And you can't program that and plan it. The apostles didn't say, "Now we're going to go into the upper room and we're going to put our left foot in and take our left foot out and do the hokey pokey." You can't program that stuff. You have to just yield your life, and I really want to see God make better use of me in this year, in a way that allows people to know that this was something that God did through this man, not something that He did because he ran a whole lot or cooked beans.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I think the inspiration of Pentecost 2025 is to inspire, pastors to do something, right? And because you have some who may not be as inspired as others. So I see it that way, but you have your however, your own diversity as to how you want to do your evangelism. It's just a commitment to do something, right? And so you can be as diverse as you like.
I think that, and when we talk about evangelism in our church, what we're talking about is making more Adventists. Whereas when the apostles talking about evangelism, they were talking about making Jesus known, because people did not know who Jesus was.
Mm.
And we don't live in that society anymore. And so now I think the focus should be on increasing the quality of discipleship rather than simply going out baptizing a whole bunch of new people without having a clear path to how we train and teach these people how to walk and live.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's an overall commitment for all of our churches and ministries, not just churches, but other ministries associated with the denomination, that we should consider more the machinations of retention.
Yeah.
A lot of churches, I've worked with a lot of campaigns over my career with the conference, and it's great. Baptism day is 150 people.
Yeah.
But then you go back to that church 6 months later, and you may have 10.
Oh, I've seen
from that 150.
If that, yeah.
And I think that there is something to be said about preparing a church for retention, as in conjunction with adding new members. Because I can tell you that I've talked to many people who joined the church on their 10 efforts and whatever, and they have actually given me testimony that, well, pastor was great, the revival was great, but I'm not seeing the same thing in the church. I'm not seeing the same, fellowship and caring when I go to be an official member of a given church. So I've heard that many times. So obviously there is a weakness there where we're anxious to baptize many people. Many people are encouraged to join the church, but do we exercise as much energy in retention?
And then, Chuck, I think another thing too, kind of like what Tally was saying, instead of us focusing on, drawing close to Christ and the messages of Christ, directly relationship with Christ, we start to focus on the more doctrines of the church. I must understand the state of the dead, and they must understand the three angels messages. They must understand this, and even though all those things are great, we lose focus of them building relationships with Christ. And so when they start hearing all the things they can't do, and man, that by the time you freak them out with all the foods they can't eat, people I gotta go, right? And so
it depends on what you care about. Okay. And this is something that I take very, very seriously, because our churches are located in communities. And sometimes the focus becomes on building up this church so much that nurturing the community is second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth on people's lists. If first on the list could be nurture everybody, we'd be in better shape. I'll give you an example. I was driving down the street 2 Sabbaths ago. And as I was driving home, I looked to the bus stop and I saw one of my church members whom I baptized in a kiddie pool at a block party, because she said she was ready to accept the Lord. And I saw her with a cigarette, her and her friend. And the rule is, anytime pastor sees you with a cigarette, please just give it to me. Don't have me tussle you in the road, please. So I whip around the truck. I said, come on, man, let me give you a ride. Come on in here. And by that time, she had put out her cigarette and told her friend, you better put that out. So they get in the truck and I say, now listen, I seen that cigarette. Let me get that. So she hands it to me. She's like, all right, pastor, I know. I said, you got anything in your bag I should have? No, pastor. I said, all right. She said, I got it from her friend in the back seat. I got it from her. I said, hey, listen. I said, what's your name? And Miss Tracy. She said, Tracy, I'm Pastor Smith. Good to meet you. I said, listen.
Well, you sound like a narco cop.
Listen. I I said, can I get that cigarette that you just put out? Not this time. I said, no problem. Can I get the pack? So even though you didn't want to give me one, I might as well ask, can I get a pack? Not this time. I said, okay, next time I see you, how about then? She's like, we'll talk about it, Pastor. So I drop him off. And so apparently the lady from my church is telling that lady, I'm telling you, the pastor's going to come for you now. So she got on the bus of one of my church members and is telling the bus driver, my church member, I met your pastor the other day. She gave me a ride. And she tried to come for my cigarettes. I have memorized the pastor's license plate because I'm going to be ducking from the pastor now. Here's my point. Are you willing to walk with people on the street they're on? None of this happened at church.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I've taken cigarette packs from people at church. I don't care, anywhere. But this particular time didn't happen at church. It was on the roadside at the bus stop because that's where they were. Are we willing as believers to see where you are, wherever you are, and say, I'm going to walk with you on your journey. I'm going to get all up in your stuff and love you right there. And by the way, you want to come to church next week? You want to come next Sabbath? What are you doing next week? You see, It's not always about, do you understand Ellen White? Do you know about this 2300 thing, which most of us don't know how to explain? Hey, the thing is, Christ loves you and wants to free you from certain stuff. Let me be a little Jesus example and help you out.
Right.
If we stuck with true discipleship and nurturing, they would see the love of Christ and be able to do the same thing for someone else. The bus driver used to be an addict. I collected all her liquor and her cigarettes. Now she's telling people, please talk to my pastor so she can help you. I'm not perfect, but I just want to see you come from point A to point B. It's not about all that other stuff. Show them Jesus is my point. That's right.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking with all the work that Novella's done now, she can probably open her own little store.
I just want to know, Novella, I just want to know, was your body cam recording?
There's no camera.
I mean, but we for what has happened with us these days is that evangelism is a programmatic, performative, event-centered activity done by professionals. We'll get somebody from the North American Division or the General Conference or the Union, and they'll have a budget of $120,000 or something like that, and they'll bring a bunch of Bible workers in, and the members will kind of watch, and they'll bring in the dead, the dying, the crippled, the crying, the halt, the maimed, the sick, and the blind, and all that won't walk, they'll drag and baptize them, and those folks won't know do-why diddy, but they get baptized because they enjoyed the service and they enjoyed being treated well. And then they leave those people with the pastors and say, no, you train them up. It's not really, that is not how the apostles did evangelism. It wasn't programmatic. It wasn't performative. The Great Commission had only one command in it, and that is make disciples. The word go was not a command. The word baptize was not a command. The word teach was not a command. These were all just side activities, but it's saying basically help people to learn how to walk. And that's what evangelism is. And we do it a completely different way. And I'm wondering if we are frustrating the Spirit of the living God by not, incorporating a true model of like what Novella's saying, walking alongside people and helping them to understand how to follow Christ.
Yeah. Is the real goal to submit these numbers? Like when we were at PELC, right, Marlena, we were sitting there, Tally too, and we were sitting there. He knows what that's about. We were sitting there and they're putting up the numbers of baptisms, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, why they didn't put up my 4?
Yeah.
Right? My 4 is important in the kingdom of God. And just because you baptize 600 doesn't mean the 600, where they are.
Yeah.
But if Marlena knows where her 20 are, that's 100%.
Exactly. And that's discipleship.
Right. And so when they project the big numbers, I don't be sitting there with no big excitement, because I'm like, y'all, all of y'all up here know good and well, you don't know where 75% of them 600 people are. Don't lie.
Yeah.
And so I'll be sitting there like, what? I'm not turned up about this. I want to hear stories. That's what I turned to Marlene and I said, I want to hear stories.
Yeah.
I want to hear about you baptized Susan, and hey, she had lived next door to the church for 15 years, but it wasn't until somebody knocked there and asked me to come or whatever. Let me hear stories. I don't want to see no numbers now. I want to hear stories.
That's good.
Look, I'm hoping that we will begin to shift the paradigm and begin to value the work of discipleship and the work that pastors actually do, rather than to continue to apotheosize some of these guys who come down from big offices and they have these great big teams who come in, and then you pay for really exciting music, and then after these great big meetings, the people go to Who Shot John Church where the 20 members and just the one finger's playing the piano, and then they say, well, wait a minute, what happened? This is a bait and switch. And so
there's no consistency in what they saw,
right?
Versus what they're now being asked to commit to weekly. And so what if it was just more natural? What if when people did evangelistic series, because the teaching part it should be grand, right? It should be great. It should be full of education and whatever the case may be, right? If that's the model people want to use. But what happens if it could just reflect more of what we naturally do? So it's not like a bait and switch and I'm like, whoa, what's this? I hope that the word could be attractive enough. But even when the evangelist leaves, is the word attractive enough in the local church? Is there consistency of preaching and teaching there? And it's a lot. Listen, man, I could talk all night.
I know, right? I feel like that's so. Yeah.
And then, guys, some people simply want to be baptized. They may not want all the other stuff, right? Yeah. I had a member that said I wasn't preaching enough, and she came for my preaching, and I had like a lot of guests. She said, I don't like all them guest speakers, and I don't like all those guest speakers. And she said some are good and some are. I thought they were all good, but anyway, that was her thought. And she says, really, Pastor, I just wanted to be baptized, and so you baptized me, and I'm happy. She happily went. I mean, I tried to keep, because I call my people. I stay on them, to nurture them. But people, in the end, they said, I really just wanted to be baptized. I had never been baptized, and you helped me to reach that goal.
Yeah.
Perhaps one New Year's resolution for churches would be to spend more time understanding how to really love people.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's huge.
Because of, the issue of retaining people that's an internal problem. I personally have had instances where people admitted that they didn't want any more members. They were fine just the way they were. There was one woman I was helping to support an evangelistic meeting, a campaign in a certain state, and in preparation, of course, the Bible workers come out and then they meet with workers at the church, and then you have, you plan, and then you go out and all. And I went to one of those sessions just to sort of get, all of the details of how they were going to go out, because my responsibility was assist in media support. So I was sitting there and I heard a woman say, we're fine the way we are. We don't need any more. We don't need any more members.
Yeah.
She actually
I don't understand.
That's painful.
And, really, it was like a gut punch, because she was intentional. It's like, we don't want new people.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
No.
That's that country club mentality.
And that's what's the point of the God? I mean, like, what is your purpose?
Discipleship is so a thing of the heart, you know,
Mhm.
and it can happen in like so many different ways, you know, big city, country, this or that. And if we look at it as people reaching to other people and sharing the word of God, then we'll get it. You
Mhm.
know, we won't be so wound up or whatever with, you know, somebody would never make that statement that the person made to Chuck. It's not about more members. This is about, have I been able to share God's word with someone so that they can be transformed and understand? And if that allows them to join this church, then praise the Lord. If it allows them to go and be a disciple somewhere else, then praise the Lord. Bottom line is, do you have Jesus? Can we start with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when we talk about resolutions, perhaps as individuals,
That's
we
right.
can say, am I conducting my life in such a
Mhm.
way that people can see Christ in me? If
That's
I am truly Christ-centered, then I will behave in such a way
Mhm.
that people will
Mhm.
gravitate to me. I'm not banging them over the head with, you know, a lot of doctrines. You know, there was one Muslim gentleman years ago, I had an opportunity to speak to, and he says, tell me something, Chuck. He said, God made 10 commandments and your church has 28 doctrines. He said, there's something wrong with that picture.
Pretty smart Muslim.
It might be 29 come next year, you know.
Yeah. He said, it just seems like the more doctrines become, it's more difficult for people
Mm.
to consider complying and changing and whatever. The 10 commandments were kind of, you know, straight to the point. But he said, man, all these doctrines. He says, how do your folk get through that? And, you know, I muddled some answer that
You trying to get out of
really couldn't get in. Yeah, I really couldn't get into it deep. But it says that really, and I had a good relationship with this person. I mean, we were friends.
Mhm.
He knew I was a Seventh-day Adventist, and I knew he was a Muslim. And the fact that we were of different beliefs and different religions, that didn't matter to him. He just had a question. You know,
Yeah.
the friendship that we had was more of a priority than, you know, that was my witness to him.
You
That
know,
I did not, you know, discount him because he's a Muslim.
Mhm.
You know, that never came into our conversations. It's just that one day he was just curious about, you know, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So I say that maybe a New Year's resolution would be to be more personable in one-on-one
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
that you meet, especially strangers, you know,
Mhm.
someone you don't know.
Yeah.
And they will, in my experience, they will gravitate towards listening to who you are and what you are when they feel that you have treated them well.
Amen.
Amen.
You
And
know,
go ahead, Tim.
I just noticed somebody from Shiloh SDA Church in Petersburg sent greetings our way, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure who that might be.
Dr. Tyler's people.
I think the pastor down there has gone to another denomination.
Uh-uh.
I don't know
I
who
think
that
that's Davis hopping on both sides there.
Oh my
is. Now,
goodness.
what church does Havis attend?
Shiloh.
Oh, he goes there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
See,
Oh, yeah. Keenan will baptize you. Keenan will baptize you. You know. You like ice cream? Yes, sploosh.
uh-uh.
Keenan
Like
will put
ice
you in
cream. If you answer any question, yes, huh?
water. Keenan puts you in
Yeah, I knew that was you.
evangelist.
But
You
no,
know, Latasha, I think it would be interesting if we asked the viewers if they would put something in the chat as to what they think they might want to do differently. But I think maybe in about 4 to 6 months, just bring this topic back up and ask people how they're doing with their resolutions.
sure, let's do it.
Because
Accountability.
And tell them if they're drinking or smoking that Novella's car.
She's coming to get him.
Oh, that was
With
Hayes
fireworks.
from Petersburg.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know, I have a resolution, and that is that when I do an hour show But now on, it's going to be an hour.
That is
Yes,
terrible.
I know, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have some upset resolutions soon. But no, great. Great discussion, guys. I always have a sense of motivation after having discussions about setting goals. And the other thing too is don't try to do everything every year. Pray about it, pick the ones that you think will work best for you and be consistent with those. I know sometimes you're like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, I like that one too. And you're trying to do
and it's okay to just have one.
Yeah. And and be consistent with that one thing. So I think we've provided a lot of different ideas to get you going. And as Charles said, we'll come back and see how we're coming along. Because I did see someone say something about time management. So we'll be checking in with you, Dr. Daniel, see how you're doing with that.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and thank you, Nicole. We have the snow coming.
Has it started yet?
No.
I think it's supposed to start at night in Maryland, right? Like 10 or 11?
Whenever I'm ready. Whenever.
Bella she's embracing this thing.
Whenever.
Habit said he's booking the cruise, all right?
Ooh, that's right. Havis, thanks for coming. Yes. Our CampCon cruise. Yes. It's not too late to join us, but it's getting down to the wire. So if you're still interested in joining us for the CampCon cruise, reach out to me. I'll give you more details. I'm happy to hear that. That's good news. You said promote.
The daggone cruise. Okay.
All right, that's my resolution for 2025. We're going to fill the ship up. Okay.
All
right.
That'll be good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And also, as we're leaving, in the chat, if you don't mind, we're preparing for season 5. We want to make sure that we are covering topics that you all want to know about, want to talk about, things we haven't covered over the last 4 seasons. So send us some suggestions, put them in the chat or email me. We want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. So
and you need to subscribe if you haven't subscribed.
Yes.
And share.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we need to get Rodney Grissom off of the pharmaceuticals that have him thinking the bill.
Oh, he's dead for the bill.
Yeah.
He wants to visit the moon. What is going on, Rodney?
There's a 12-step program waiting for him.
Hey, I'm not mad. Got to start somewhere. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for this new year, new start, starting your year with us and our UpSet family. We'll see you back here next week. Same time, same place. All right, guys.
Blessings, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.